All right, we are live today. Happy Friday Eve day to everybody. You guys, I missed you last week when I was traveling. So fun to see you all and be with you here again. I hope you missed me too. Don't tell me if you didn't. I'd rather just assume that you did. We've got Facebook and YouTube here on my laptop. YouTubers, I want you to smash the subscribe button so you never miss one of my video trainings. I'm here live every single week. And if you're coming to me through Facebook and you haven't already given StreamYard permission for us to see your name, go ahead and do that. Go to streamyard.com/Facebook and give permission for us to see your name so that Craig and I know that you're here and we can answer your questions personally. Otherwise, it just says Facebook user, and that's really not any fun. Today, I have one of my favorite people here with us. My guest expert today is my friend, Craig Stamper. He is a psychic. He has helped guide me on this rocky road of life and entrepreneurship. And I wanted him to come share his wisdom with us. He is all about giving and serving, and he has led his life that way. We're going to be talking about success as an entrepreneur and how we can achieve what Craig loves to call breathable freedom in our lives and in our journey of entrepreneurship. But first, just in case this is the first time we've ever met, and you're wondering who I am Tracy Beavers. I am your business and sales coach with over 20 years of experience in marketing, sales, and business growth. I have helped hundreds of entrepreneurs just like you get visible, grow your email list, and get that sustainable, consistent monthly income coming in that we all dream of when we start our businesses. I offer private one-to-one coaching. I've got one spot that came open for the summer, and I have an 8-week group coaching program called Business Visibility Made Easy, which then feeds into a monthly membership. This is the program for email list growth, for getting your business visible on social media so you can grow your email list, attract your ideal clients, and again, get that consistent monthly income that we all want as entrepreneurs. So join us, go to tracybeavers.com/BVME to get on the wait list for when this program reopens in October. You can go through the program with us and then be invited into the membership for Business Visibility Made Easy students. And I also wanted to let you know, I'm planning to be an affiliate for Amy Porterfield's Digital Course Academy, which starts in late August this year. She opens up this program one time a year, and you know she's someone I follow for a long time. If you are planning to create and launch a digital course like I have, this is the program for you. And when you enroll in DCA using my affiliate link, you will receive the entire Business Visibility Made Easy program plus private time with me as your bonus. If you're interested in that because you've got an online course on your mind that you want to get launched out into the world, then reach out to me by DM or email. Trust me, I've been through other courses that teach how to do this, and DCA Digital Course Academy is the one you want to be in. As we go along through this interview with Craig, I want you to pop your comments and questions into the chat for him. If you're coming to us on replay, go ahead and throw in your questions and comments. I will see them, and I will get Craig to circle back and answer them for us. Do not be shy. He is a wonderful person. You're going to love him just as much as I do. Let me introduce him to you. Craig is an international medium, psychic healer, and he has used his awareness for more than 30 years to help improve the lives of thousands of people across the world, you guys. He loves to say that all the answers are within one's soul. It just needs some spiritual love, light, and guidance. There are so many cool things about my friend Craig, but one in particular that I want to note, and I hope he's going to share a little bit of this with us, is that his life has been a lot like ours. He's worked in both corporate and been an entrepreneur owning businesses, and he works for himself now as a psychic and counselor. And so he completely understands how we are feeling, whether you're trying to build this thing alongside a corporate job, or you're stuck in corporate right now and you want a way out, or you left corporate like I did and you're building a business. Craig, I am looking so forward to this discussion today because you're the first psychic we've ever had for one of our trainings. And because I know how much wisdom you've given me over the years, everybody here is going to benefit from this conversation. So let's dive in. But is there anything you want to add about your bio before we dive into all the questions I've got for you?
No, but I'd like to give you something, that announcement you made about the online courses for you.
Yes.
That feels really good, and it has a strong heartbeat for you and for the people who benefit. So I want you to have that.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you. I love
welcome.
that. I love that.
And the other thing about my history, being a psychic or a medium or whatever term people want to use, I've been that my entire life. But
Mhm.
for probably until about 6 years ago, I was private and only saw people by referral.
Yes, I do remember that.
That was how I did it.
Yeah, that's how
And
you and I met. I was
yeah,
referring you.
I never was public at all. And then my 14-year-old nephew, who's my technical SME, my subject matter expert,
Uh-huh.
he lives with me, and he actually did this background this morning in 10 minutes for me.
Yes.
But he was in 5th grade, and I was driving him to school, and he just looked at me and he said, "It's time for you to go public."
Love
And
it.
I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you can help more people."
Love it.
And so it wasn't until about 4 years ago that I started just kind of ebbing out there a little bit.
Mhm.
That's how I met you. Well, I met you through referral, but then I
Yeah.
began that. And one of the things about you, Tracy, is that I had to seek your assistance, if you remember, about 3 years ago,
Yes.
to get a better understanding of how to effectively move with myself, because I'm about service. So doing marketing and emails and those kind of things are foreign to me,
Right.
which is
Right.
going to lead into some of our conversation later for the
Mhm.
challenges that we all have, right?
Right. Hmm.
But yeah, that has a heartbeat for you. I'm very
Yeah.
proud for you.
Thank
Very
you. I
proud for you.
appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that brings me to my first question, though. I'm sure everybody wants to know your backstory. If you don't mind sharing, how old were you when you realized that you had this psychic gift, and what has your journey been like?
Okay. Well, first, I don't use the word gift ever.
Okay.
Okay. It's just a thing, because everything that I am, everyone else is too.
Hmm.
I just kind of remember, right?
Okay.
And so it's about all of this goes back in your business, and everything is about empowerment of people,
Hmm.
right? And
Yes.
in empowerment, we find the goodness, we find truth, we find flow, we find laughter, we find joy, right?
Hmm.
But to the story, as far back as I can remember, I was 3 years old, and my mother would put me down for my nap, and I'd throw a fit because I was a good child.
Yes.
And then 3 angels would arrive every day and put me down for my nap. That's how it started, as far back as I can remember.
Right.
And then all of my life, I've had a knowingness,
Hmm.
um, and some people will call it a gut feeling, but for me, I knew when people were speaking the truth. I knew when, they looked like a 45-year adult, but emotionally they were 12.
Interesting.
Right. So I had a sense of ego and insecurities and true kindness, but ultimately, I could always feel a human's intent. No matter
Interesting.
no matter what came out here, I knew their intent.
Right.
So the biggest lesson I learned as a child with all of that is learning to abandon judgment.
Okay. Wow.
That as a child, I had to learn to abandon judgment, because when we're kids, you're like, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's right. But humans are here having their own experience,
Right.
and we're spiritual beings too. So I had to learn to abandon judgment. Not that I was perfect with it, at
Hmm.
14 or 15, um, but everybody gets their story. It's what
Hmm.
you do with other people's actions. It's a mirror unto you on who you choose to be in that.
Interesting. That is
Yeah,
so interesting. Yes,
that
because
was that was the that was the biggest lesson as a child. I mean, then it became more expansive. But then, you know, here's the thing: we're groomed from the time we're born. We get a social security number, sometimes a religion. We get
Mhm.
programmed in school to learn so we can go work for someone or
Right.
whatever. And in
Right.
some cases, people have a. I knew a doctor. She said, "Craig, I knew I wanted to be a doctor when I was 4." She was a doctor. She's a great doctor. But we're really programmed to be workers within the
Yes.
world, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
And I did. I went out and I did work. I worked in corporate America.
Hmm.
Um, I've worked with the homeless. Um, I worked in corporate America for 10 years as a director of operations, and I couldn't breathe in that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Socioeconomically, it was very good because we're
Hmm.
programmed. We're programmed to succeed.
Right.
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 Um, and I grew up in an environment where that was real important.
Hmm.
Um,
I
you
did
know,
too.
I've had varied jobs. I have worked in a family homeless shelter. I did that for probably 3 years.
Hmm.
And families would come in the evening and they'd feed and they'd look for jobs. It was a great organization, and I loved doing it. I
Yeah.
loved doing it. But back in the day, it paid me, what would be equivalent to $14,000 a year today.
Right.
Because the service jobs or the service help things, they don't pay a lot of money.
No, not
If
usually.
you're in corporate America and you're succeeding, you're making lots of money, right?
Hmm.
So
Right.
it's kind of like the society is kind of upside down in a way.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I say that as an observation, not a judgment.
Right.
And I'm never going to judge that.
Right.
And so I worked on a project with IBM in the state of Arkansas way before those CDs for your cars came out.
Uh-huh.
They had a bunch. It was an agency for the state. They had a bunch of paper documents going back to the 30s,
Hmm.
and so there was an effort with IBM. I don't know if I should mention their name, but with
That's fine.
with them and the state to turn those into digital documents. So there was a
Uh-huh.
conversion, and so I was involved in that for a few years.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then I did have my own business for
Right.
about
You had the spa for a long time.
clinic.
Clinic.
Yeah, I had the clinic that had massage and acupuncture and
Mhm.
all kinds of other things, and I did that for about 20 years
Yeah.
as a business owner. Yeah.
Right. Nice.
Does that
So
answer your question? Does that answer your question?
yes, it does. It gives everybody kind of a snapshot of who you are, where you've been, and
Mhm.
where the common connections are going to be, which I think is really important. So when you and I were talking about doing this interview, and we were talking about exactly what you just mentioned, how when we're born perfect, but then we're programmed in our lives for success. We're programmed to produce. We're programmed to always be doing, always be working. When I was young, I heard if you've got time to lean, you got time to clean, right? And then and then I grew up wanting to be that A+ student, to sit in the front row, to always be producing. And as you know about me, knowing me as you do, it's very hard for me to unplug that and rework that, but I've worked on it all these years. You know the struggle that I have of finding value in myself, in my busyness, and my accomplishments. And I know others that are listening to this feel the same way. What do you suggest we do to recognize this in ourselves and then begin to reprogram that thinking and behavior so that our value is not tied to what we're doing, what we're producing, what we're accomplishing, and our money?
Well, I guess the first element I always go to is the spiritual process of our being, right?
Mhm.
So to the point, we're programmed for these things, and as kids, we're taught to behave, and we're taught to do this, and we're taught to do that.
Right.
And it's important to know right from wrong, and it's important for us as children and young adults to have some boundaries, right?
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, you were born perfect.
Yes.
You were born perfect, and then you were conditioned in a certain way,
Hmm.
right? So working in corporate America for me, it was very beneficial. I enjoyed it, but it lacked breathability,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so that's why my vocational pursuits have changed over the years
Hmm.
because I need breathability in different ways. So the challenges in corporate America are like, okay, you have subject matter experts in different areas of the business you can rely on. As
Right.
an entrepreneur and a small business owner, you tend to be the subject matter expert or have to be or think you have to be in all
Yes.
things,
Right.
right? And I
Hmm.
want to round back up to that before we wrap today. So the challenge in that being an entrepreneur or having your own business is having to learn so much, right?
Yes.
So, my strength, I can work a checkbook. I know what goes in, I know what goes out,
Right.
right?
Right.
As far as marketing, not my strength,
Right.
right? My strength are humans. I've
Hmm.
always known that about myself, right?
Right.
So there are different things about a business, whether it's email marketing or it's Facebook stuff or it's website stuff.
Hmm.
Um, it is to acknowledge you're not all of that and you will never be all of that.
I love that.
You'll never be all of that because if you understand yourself and say, I'm good at this, I'm not good at that. But I saw this woman in Tracy's group one time that's strong in this, but
Hmm.
she said she kind of had needed some more in this. Maybe I could partner up with her.
Yes.
And wonderful thing about what you're doing here is you're pulling so many people together
Mhm.
that it allows them to say, hey, I identify with that.
Mhm.
I'm good at that. I could help this person, or he could
Right.
help me, or whatever it is, right?
Right.
So it's about also being vulnerable within yourself and saying, this is what flows with me. This doesn't.
And being okay with that.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know
Yeah.
what my natural flow is. Then I have to learn some things. Of
Mhm.
the things I have to learn, really, I can learn A and B, but C is way beyond me, right?
Mhm.
And so that's where we parlay into partnerships and a support system. And you doing these videos all the time and people going back and watching them and saying, there's something in there. I have that, right?
Yeah.
But the first thing is to be vulnerable with yourself. Be vulnerable with yourself and be honest with yourself.
Okay. And what's authentic to you and what's not.
The most important thing is what's authentic to me today may not be authentic to me a year from now.
That's very true.
And what
Because
was
we evolve.
authentic 20, yeah, and what was authentic 20 years ago
Mhm.
has certainly changed now.
Exactly. I feel the same way. Myself 20 years ago is not myself now.
Now, and remember when you were in transition from your, corporate job to doing this,
Yeah.
and your flow is just so beautifully different for you, right?
Yes, it is.
And it's some breathable freedom in there, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Love
And you
that.
look good. Yeah, 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 yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know if I answered your question, but
Yeah, you did. I mean, that struggle that I've got in finding my value in my accomplishments. Um, so what I think of what you're saying is the way that I can overcome that is by tuning into myself and figuring out what truly is authentic and in flow for me,
mhm,
and then letting go of that judgment of myself of not being able to be
mhm.
all the things and do all the things and know all the things. Do I have that right?
Yeah, because here it is. I remember back when the 14-year-old I was talking about earlier.
Mhm.
Um, there'd be take to school, there'd be pick up from school. There was baseball,
Mhm.
league baseball every Tuesday, Thursday. There
Mhm.
was Cub Scouts on Wednesday. There were piano lessons on Thursday.
Yep.
Plus, I was on a council of a spiritual organization. I was running the business. Plus, I was seeing clients privately, right?
Right. Right.
Okay, that's a lot to juggle, and
That's a lot.
that's a lot of what entrepreneur and small business owners do,
Mhm.
right? And I remember how tired I was.
Yes.
I was tired. I
Yes.
mean, I wasn't. But you switch into this gear that says drive fast because you got to do all this stuff.
Mhm.
But within that gear, sometimes you have to stay there out of necessity,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? But when you're in that gear where the breathability comes in,
Mhm.
is stopping throughout the day and saying, who am I in this?
Okay. Okay.
Who am I in this?
Okay.
So if I'm like, okay, I'm getting in my car, I got to go do this, and this. When you get in your car, stop and say, who am I in this?
Okay.
And the reason you ask that question is simply to become present in the moment,
Mhm.
right?
Got it.
And in some cases, I'm like, okay, I'm a guardian, I'm a business owner, I'm this.
Mhm.
I know who I am in this in the moment. What am I doing in the moment? I'm
Okay.
driving. I'm driving,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because everything on our to-do list, our checklist, I got to market, I got to do this, I got to see clients, I got to do this.
Yeah.
You're projecting yourself forward, which is taking away from the present moment of your experience.
Yeah. That was because
Your
that was
your breathability.
yeah, that was the thing
Yeah.
that one of the things I wanted you to touch on. I'm so glad you mentioned that. It's we're paying the bills, we're running the kids everywhere. I have aging parents now. John
Mhm.
has aging parents. We've got the house, the dog, and then we're supposed to run this business.
Mhm.
So I love that. So then what you're instructing us to do for a best practice is to not allow ourselves to get too far forward into the future, but then to just be and breathe.
Yeah, and there are a lot of spiritual books that talk about being in the moment.
Yeah.
And it's a conditioning. It's a conditioning. But the one question you can ask yourself is, who am I in this?
Okay.
And this can be anything. This is not like some extrapolated universal thing. It's just, who am I in this? And you define in that moment what this is for you.
Okay.
So who am I in this moment for me is having a conversation with Tracy, with her group, and hopefully being of service to people who will hear it and will get some tools to facilitate a balancing of sorts for them. That's who I am in this at this moment.
Got it. We had a great question that came through. Somebody asked, how frequently should we check in to assess whether what we're doing still feels authentic? And that was Selena, by the way, Selena Beasley.
I guess I'd have a question to that. What we're doing, is it about my entire element of my vocational pursuit, or in a day, or in a moment?
Probably in a day, if I had to,
Okay.
for Selena, because Selena is a lot like us. She's an entrepreneur. She's a mom. She's got little home for the summer. She does have parents that she helps take care of. All the things that we all do.
She's got a big plate.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about that. Stop yourself. Say, who am I in this?
Okay.
Because when you stop yourself and just say that, you're centering yourself. You're breathing in the moment.
Okay.
Right? And even if you say it once, you say it 10 times to yourself. What you're doing is becoming present.
And you're getting that.
And you're breathing.
And that freedom that we feel. So that's where the freedom comes in, is we're breathing, we're opening ourselves up, we're centering ourselves, and we feel free, if I'm following it correctly. And that's when our soul can truly connect with what is our authentic step, and we're allowing the space for the soul to direct us. Am I right?
Well, partially. The other thing is this. So when you do that, when you're present with yourself, that's when you're in co-creation, really. Because who am I in this? Because if you're thinking about the thing Thursday, or you're thinking about the thing Monday,
right.
Who am I now? I'm a good human being. I'm a great mother. I'm a great daughter to her. I'm a great daughter. I have responsibilities. And I'm doing the best that I can.
Okay.
Right?
And so that's when we start to recognize our values, not in
absolutely
in the to-do list. The value is then in the moment. Okay, I think I get it.
One of the key things I heard many years ago that I do every morning, because we, as specifically mothers, they don't put themselves first.
No.
And I know, in helping raise a child, a lot of times I didn't put myself first. Every morning when you wake up, put your hand over your heart.
Okay.
I love you, Craig.
Okay. I love you, Tracy.
So, do it again.
I love you, Tracy. Wow.
Powerful, isn't it?
It's very. It's almost. It's a little uneasy.
It is. But when you do it for 2 weeks straight and start your day with that love from yourself, it's a blessing. And you can feel it through you as you do it.
Yeah, I felt it through me, and it was a little
absolutely.
Yeah.
Start your day with that. It's a simple thing, and I'm not sure where I got that from, but just, I love you, Craig. That's how I start my day.
Yeah. Because we don't tell each other, we don't tell ourselves we love ourselves.
We look for we're conditioned to look for validation everywhere else for that.
And I'm conditioned to look for validation in how much money I make, and the things that I accomplish, and how much I got off my to-do list. Okay. And Selena asked for us to repeat the statement that we ask ourselves is, who am I in this, right? Okay.
Who am I in this?
Who am I in this?
And the this is anything.
Yes.
Who am I in this experience?
Right.
She could be dealing with a customer. Good customer, not so good customer. And I'm just hypothesizing here. And during the conversation, who am I in this?
Right. Okay.
I'm not who they want me to be.
Or who they expect me to be.
Because they're soliciting behavior to make me be something I'm not.
Okay.
Who am I in this?
Got it.
Yeah. It just gives a moment of breathability and centeredness to remember, I love you, Selena. Start the day that way.
Right.
And then take moments throughout the day. And you can call it spiritual alignment. You can call it whatever you want, but tangible things like this and those words.
Words are powerful. You've taught me that.
They are powerful, but more importantly, sometimes, it's hard to connect with yourself in a way. And sometimes you just have to do things repeatedly. Like when you first did this, you're like, that's a little uneasy. The
Yeah.
second time you did it, I saw the energy go through you and you experienced it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you do them. And the other thing too is, who am I in this may turn into something different for Selena. She may decide, oh, I think it needs to change. Maybe I need to say, you know, where is my sense of self in this?
Okay. I like that too.
So that's all. Every human's experience is different. So when I've done sessions with people around the world, they're all different sessions, and I don't ask them why they want to see me.
Right.
Because when I sit, it all begins, and I don't want any information. And information is delivered to the individual for that individual in a way they understand it, and what
Right.
reaches down into them with the angels present.
Right.
So the way I move and think and balance is different than you and Selena or anybody else.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Gosh. And the comments coming through are amazing.
They said, get him off of here.
No, no, not at all. So tell us, you've mentioned a couple of times, share with us a conflict that you have felt as an entrepreneur that where you have had to find your breathable freedom and work on this yourself. If you don't mind sharing that with us, I think that would really help everybody.
Well, if you ask any entrepreneur, they would come up with a list of 30 things immediately, right? It could be the customer who's trying to get out of doing something that they know they need to do, or they know they need to pay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're on the other end of the phone thinking, dumbass, you owe me that money. Excuse my language.
This is why I love you, because you're just.
But before the call, mm-hmm. Who am I in this? I'm the business owner. This is my responsibility. Mm-hmm. I know they're probably going to behave this way.
Right.
But they do not get to solicit who I am.
Okay.
I define who I am.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
So some of my conflicts weren't customer related, because I was very good with people. Yes. When it came to paperwork was always a conflict for me.
Right.
An internal conflict. Right.
Okay.
Okay, I should really download the bank statement into QuickBooks right now, but let me not do that because it tastes bad to me right now. Mm-hmm. Only because I didn't like it, right? Because there are things we like and don't like.
Right.
So it all depends on what the conflict is, right? Okay. I have to do an email marketing for upcoming Mother's Day special, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Okay, no, not my thing, but I did it.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
And those are just small things, because as an entrepreneur, it's the large things are important by getting customers and leads and growing your business. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times conflict is in the small things too.
Okay. Like give us an example.
So I'm going into work today, hypothetically, and I got this list of things to do, and all of a sudden 10 things are coming at me, and it's like, not on my list, was not my plan.
Right.
But I have to, right? Mm-hmm. That creates conflict.
Okay.
Don't you agree?
Yes, absolutely. Putting out fires.
Yeah. Right. But one, again, acknowledge this is my thing to do, but not that I'm looking for them, but let me anticipate fires today. Okay. Just in case.
Just in case.
So you're giving yourself that breathability on the front end of the day that
it could happen.
Things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then when the day's over and nothing happened, you'd be like, that was nice.
Yeah.
Right?
Can I get another one of those?
But the fires keep coming, small, large, whatever.
Okay.
It's a matter of assessing, who am I in this? What does this look like?
Right.
What are my vulnerabilities? And I say vulnerabilities. I love my vulnerabilities. My vulnerabilities are not a weakness to me. My vulnerabilities keep me open. Mm-hmm. But in business and in the world, we're not supposed to show vulnerabilities.
No, we're not.
We're not. Mm-mm. We're not.
Not at all.
And this is where your vulnerabilities, if you can breathe into them, is finding others mm-hmm. that where your vulnerability lies, they will help support you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know what I mean?
If they're the kind of people that need to be in your life.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Very important point. I'd like to speak to that.
Yes, please do.
Because in an entrepreneuring business, even though somebody that's kind of got the same kind of business, mm-hmm. it's like they want to know you're not doing as good as they're doing, so they know they're doing better.
Yes, that competition.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not
And
about that.
hey, agreed, but that's the way it is out there.
It is.
So let's say, for example, John's got a business and Jay's got a business cross town, and they're kind of doing the same thing.
Mhm.
And there's no conversation. And John would love to have someone that could say, hey, how's yours going? What are your ideas? Whereas Jay is, let me go see what he's got. Let me use it. Let me leverage it. Because we all know that's a potential.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
But here's the thing. One of the things that you've created through all of this is a network of people.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So Tracy Beaver's coaching is a place that people can reach out and say, Tracy, I need someone who can possibly, help me understand some of this.
Mm-hmm.
And your question is, well, what can you offer back? Not that they need to offer at the moment, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's just this, or it's other organizations that are empowering.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all about collaboration over competition. And that's why I started the free Facebook group that I have, the Be a Confident Entrepreneur group. I couldn't find very many places like that online. And I thought, well, I'll just make my own.
No, and then if you did, you would have to subscribe to something to be part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd have to take on the format of what they want. And that may not be in alignment with me.
Right.
So tell us, how do you measure success as an entrepreneur, as Psychic Craig, who is now thankfully growing his business in the public? And I'm just going to say thank you for people across the globe, because your nephew is correct. Your gift needs to be public. What is that breathable freedom for you? And how, tell us what that success is for you as an entrepreneur and that breathable freedom.
Okay, I'm going to correct one of your words again. It's not a gift. It's not a gift. I just remember how every human is intuitive. Every human has had that gut feeling, that knowingness.
Yes.
But they're not conditioned to trust it.
Correct.
Trust what you know. That would be my best advice to anybody, entrepreneur or not. If it feels like a duck, it's a duck.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Always. And seek advice when you need advice. As far as me measuring success, and I've not marketed myself. I had a little website put out there, but I've not marketed myself at all.
Right.
And it's something that maybe I need to lean into. But how I measure success and what I do is being of service.
Mm-hmm. I know. Yes.
Being of service. Because when I'm done with the session, it's absolutely glorious and beautiful. People have received what they needed to, and shifts have happened. So directly in that particular work that I do, it's immediate.
Yes,
right?
It is. Yeah, because I've been in session with you and I felt it. Yes.
Yeah, but going back to when I owned a business, right? How did I measure success then? Mm-hmm. Really, just paying the bills.
Right.
And it was a service-oriented business, but it was about getting the bills paid.
Mm-hmm. But I know money is not a driver for you. It never has been.
No, I like it.
Right.
We all like it, right?
And we have to have it.
Huh?
We have to have it.
Okay, money is energy, right?
Yes.
So that's what facilitates things that we would like to do. Mm-hmm. So we were talking a little bit earlier in the pre-studio thing about finding balance in life, right? And some people have been conditioned to survive life.
Yes, they have. You're correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not to enjoy life.
Right. That life is hard, that work is hard, that everything's a slog, that everybody's out to get them.
And understanding first that they are worthy enough.
Right.
You are worthy enough not to have to survive. You're worthy of abundance, right?
Yes.
So in the business, I wanted to pay the bills, certainly all the people, the bills, right?
Right.
Grow the business a little bit. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
That's all I did.
Yeah. Well, this has been outstanding. And I know I'm looking in the comments just to make sure I didn't miss anybody's questions. Somebody said, breathable freedom. I want to put that on my bathroom mirror. I think that's amazing. Isn't that, that just makes the whole interview worth it, doesn't it, Craig?
Yeah, but here's the other thing. I want to add two things before we wrap up, if we can.
Yes, please.
I will say this to everyone, and I say this to myself. You will never be a master. I don't care what your vocation is.
Yep.
I don't care what you're doing. You will never be a master. However, you can be masterful.
Okay. I like that.
So in those elements and challenges of a business, you're not the master, but you can be masterful in learning or getting a subject matter expert or
Right.
including someone else or just saying no.
Right.
You can be masterful. And guess what? You're already masterful with every choice you make.
Okay.
No
Because
matter what.
if you're listening to your authentic self, then you are
Or
following.
even your common sense sometimes.
Right.
So everyone listening, I want you to know you're already masterful. You'll never be a master because that empowers everything, and who wants that?
Right.
But you're already masterful, and it's a matter of just fine tuning that for
Okay.
you as an individual and for your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing about who am I in this
Right.
and the importance of that, whether most humans are aware of it or not, if we have to go, we have to do, we have this, we have that, that's a self-abusing cycle.
Okay.
Because why? We're not being present with us. We're not loving ourselves.
You're right.
And if we're not, then we're abusing us. We're abusing ourselves.
You're right.
And the best part of me is within me. And if I'm not moving with it or even momentary a couple of times a day, then really, how can I bring the best of me to the job, to the business, to the kids?
That is powerful.
Yeah.
Especially for me as a woman who tends to put everyone else before me, including my clients.
And men do that too, by the way.
They do. I just don't think they verbalize it enough, maybe.
They don't, but women do it more than men. Let's just face it.
Yeah, we do. So in essence, I am neglecting myself and in furthering the neglect of myself.
Oh, meaning you're abusing yourself.
Yeah, I don't like that word, but you.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But I did it on purpose.
Yeah, I know.
I did it on purpose. Yeah, I did it on purpose.
Right.
And it is a strong word. Right?
It is a strong word, but it's powerful, and it's the word that we needed to hear.
You're denying yourself. You're denying yourself.
Yeah.
You're denying yourself the best of you.
Right. And then by doing that, I'm not able to show up as my best self. So then I'm really not, in my opinion, really giving what I could be giving. I'm shortchanging other people because I've not been my best self. Does that make sense?
Oh, no, it's right on target.
Okay.
So Tracy.
Yes.
I love Craig.
I love Tracy.
Again, do it again.
I love Tracy. Okay. I hope everybody listening to this is putting their hand on their heart and doing this with me.
Yeah. I love Craig.
Wow.
And I have to remind myself to love Craig too. So it's an ongoing, as we grow and evolve as humans and spiritual beings, we're continually learning and growing more about ourselves. And that's the wonderful thing. There is no finish line. There is no finish line in life. You got accomplish dates or I've reached this amount of money, but that's not your finish line. The finish line is when you pass because you'll be learning and growing to the moment we leave the planet, right? Yeah. So understand in life, there are no finish lines.
Well, and I say this all the time. There's no finish line as an entrepreneur if you're building a business.
No, and you may change it.
It evolves, it grows, it changes with us. The person that I started out being 4 years ago isn't my business isn't the same.
You are so totally different than 4 years ago.
Okay, don't tell everybody everything about me.
No, it wasn't bad. No, it wasn't bad, but your light is different. Your flow is different. Your element of service is different. Your kindness has grown and become, because that's what you desired to have happen.
Yes.
When you were in your other working for the man kind of job, right?
Yeah. In corporate, it just was stifling. And I felt like I was wearing a jacket that was 2 sizes too small every day. And then and when I finally left all of that and trusted myself to do this, is when now I feel like.
But up till that moment of what you felt at the end, it was conducive for you. Mm-hmm. Corporate America was very conducive for me. It was a wonderful place for me at that time.
Yeah, very.
So it's about recognizing, who am I in this? Where are my vulnerabilities? Let me just be, Where do I breathe the best? Do I breathe in this situation well? Do I breathe in this relationship well? Whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest about that first.
Okay.
Right? That's how you kind of got at the end of your job.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because I just kept bumping up
You,
against the side of the
you,
swimming pool.
well, your life design was to always move in more and be of service anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so tell everybody how they can connect with you and find you. I know that we have people in our audience that are going to want to book a session with you and are going to want to have a chat. So how do they do that? What's the best way?
Well, a couple of things. One, my website, craigstamper.com.
Okay.
And I have a 1-800 number on there that can call and or text or email.
Okay.
And the other thing for the people who are listening that are entrepreneurs, in my vulnerability, right, I want to be of service.
Yes.
So if they have any ideas of how I can help or assist or, and it's not about the money, but, money flows. That's how we do in exchange. But if they have any ideas for me, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone in your group should open up to that with other people as well. You know?
Well, we can't, just like you and I were talking about in the beginning, we don't know how to do everything. We can't possibly know how to do everything. But when we are masterful, it means we're also resourceful and we know where to go to get help and find those people that can help us grow and support us.
Exactly. It's like in the last 6 months, I've done 2 group gatherings.
Yes.
And they've been absolutely wonderful, right? And I haven't done much of that in the past, but yeah, I've done 2 of them in the last 6 months and they've been beautiful. And I'm going to do more of them.
I love that.
And so that goes back to being ever evolving.
Right.
Right.
Oh my goodness. This was so amazing. You guys, let's take what Craig has taught us and really lean into this. Go back and listen again if you need to, because this is all new for us. It's new for me. As many years as I've known Craig and as much as he's helped me, it's still something that I have to be aware of and work on with myself.
Because we're ever evolving.
Yes. And we can achieve that breathable freedom that he's talking about and grow our businesses at the same time. It doesn't have to be an either or. It can be an and so, or a yes and.
And because because of me, meaning them, it grows.
Yes.
In conjunction with me, it grows.
Yes. Right. Alongside me. Yes.
Within.
Right. Business growth does not have to be a struggle. Craig is a prime example of that. You can build your business with authenticity and ease and breathable freedom. And when you're ready to have a community like Craig and I are talking about, where you don't have to know all the things and you have people that you can lean on for support, come into my free Facebook group. It's called Be a Confident Entrepreneur, Get Visible and Grow Your Income. We have almost 2,000 entrepreneurs in this group, and they are all working together side by side to be our best and to grow each other's businesses. So come join the party, because it's an amazing place to be. And when you're ready for strategies that are going to get you more visible and help you break through this very loud online space so you can grow your audience, your email list, and get that consistent income you want with authenticity and with breathable freedom, reach out and set a free information call with me. Let's talk about coaching. Let's talk about where you are in your business. Let's talk about finding the best solution for you. Even if I'm not that best solution, I'm okay with that, because I'm giving first. That is the way that I build my business. And remember, if you've got an online course on your heart that you've been wanting to bring out into the world, DM me or email me. Let's talk about Digital Course Academy coming up with Amy Porterfield. Again, she only opens this thing up once a year. You do not want to miss your opportunity to learn from the best. So be here live with me every Thursday at 11:30 Central. Next week, I'm on vacation again. I'm sorry, July is a month of travel. So I'll see you back in August, but put Thursday at 11:30 Central on your calendar, set your phone alarm, and join us. And remember, I say this every single week, don't go it alone. Being an entrepreneur is freaking hard. Living as a human is freaking hard. Some days everybody wants to buy what you're selling, and other days nobody can remember your name. And if you think you're alone feeling like that, you're absolutely not. And this is your community to get support so you do not feel alone. I want you to have a great balance of the week and weekend. And remember, when one of us rises, we all rise. So we have got to keep cheering each other on. Okay, Craig, thank you so much. Thanks,
Pleasure.
everybody, for joining us.
Have a wonderful day.